Hello everyone, it's your girl Lisi here, back after an entire fucking month of being MIA, but you know, it's fine because we're back and rolling with the MCC27 predictions. If you want to see the full VOD, this will just be the recap. Please go check out twitch.tv/islisi, make sure to drop a follow and subscribe over here. Now, let's get to it. Starting off is the Red Rabbits, consisting of Hannah XX Rose, Pearlisset Moon, G Nelly, and LD Shadow Liddy. This is an all-women team with great potential in games like To Get to the Other Side, Build Mart, and especially Sands of Time. Next up is the Orange Ocelots, consisting of Dan TDM, Ant Venom, V Gumiho, and Babo Abe, the first newcomer we've seen this event. This team will be good at games such. This team is a very all-round team, consisting of 4 players who you don't really see interact that much. You didn't think? Well, actually no, that's a lie. But consisting of 4 players that you really didn't think would yet team this event, and so yeah, they're cool. None of them. Next up is the Yellow Yaks, consisting of Jack Manifold, RT Game, Red Velvet Cake, and James Marriott. This team is absolutely chaotic, and it's going to be a blast to watch. I can see them doing well in games such as Parkour Tag, and maybe even Rocket Sleep Rush. Actually, wait. Maybe not Rocket Sleep Rush. I'm gonna look like so dumb, but you know. Next up is the Lime Llamas with Gizzy Gaza, the returning Joey Graceffa, the equally as returning Strawberry 17, and the one and only Creekcraft. This team is awfully underrated and I think has a good chance to shock the world on the day. Next up is the Green GECKOS, consisting of Foolish Gamers, Sekuno, Tina Kitten, and Katamina. This team has yet another true newcomer to the event, as well as Yellow having James Marriott and Katamina. This team is another pretty all-rounder that I can see doing really well in games such as Meltdown and Parkour Tag. Next up is the all-newcomer team of the CYAN COYOTES, consisting of Disguised Toast, Box, It's Masayoshi, and It's Timmy. This team, I really don't know what they're going to place. I don't know much about their skills in Minecraft, but I do know that they're all general gamers, so that could translate well into the event. Next up is the AQUA AXOLOTLS, consisting of Valkyrie, Ludwig, Amesy, and Ranboo. This team is honestly pretty strong. I think that they're gonna range anywhere from 2 to 5, and have good chances, especially if we get games played such as Build Mart and Sky Battle played late. Next up is the absolutely terrifying Blue Bats with Nihachu, her return, Awesome Dude, Elena EXE, and Ponk. I think this team, Sam and Ponk as a duo this MCC, is honestly really scary. Following up with Elena, who is a generally good player, as well as Nikki for her return, I think we can see a much better performance from her than we've seen before. I'm saying this team is really broken for this event. But speaking of broken, we have, what is this shocker of a team? This is the Purple Pandas, consisting of Belushi, the introduction of Fire Breath Man, and as well as 2 new hermits in Impulse SV, as well as B-Dubs. This team is absolutely monstrous in many of the PvP and movement-based games, especially with former tester Fire Breath Man on their side. He's far and away the best player in this event, and he's most likely have first place in the bag. Last but not least, we have the Pink Parrots, also known as the Pride 21 Green Guardians, consisting of It's Funny, Rainbow, Golden Glare, and Draconite Dragon. Hopping in straight to the placements, there's nothing much that's gonna change about this slide because I do in fact have the Pink Parrots in 10th. As much as I do want to see them do well, I think that the other teams just have a better chance this event. I've heard something about that Draco has been training and something, like someone in one of my servers said he's actually really good now. They're actually really good now, but I have no confirmation, so for now they're going to sit in 10th until I get proof. Next up is the CYAN Coyotes in ninth, as I think their general gamer skills are going to translate well into Minecraft, but I don't think that they're going to do really well for the circumstances that are this event, and the absolutely monstrosity of teams that we have considering this event's strength level. Next up is the Yellow Yaks. I think this team is going to be very chaotic. They're probably going to get first or second in vibes, depending if you want to count red or not. But I think this team has a really good shot at getting top 5. But I do think they're going to fall slightly short due to some chaos and maybe a bit of underperformances from their so-called top frags, Jack Manifold and Red Velvet Cape. 7th, I'm putting the Green GECKOS. Honestly, I think this team has a lot of potential. I think this team has a lot of potential to go even up to first, which is kind of crazy. But I think this team is very much dependent on Tina and Senkuno improving from their previous performances and Foolish showing up on the day and proving that he is the strong top frag that many people expect him to be. Next up is the LIME LLAMAS. I think this team is rather slept on, and I can easily see them making dodgeball. Creek is absolutely cracked from what we've seen in Pride 21, especially with this lower comp event than when we saw in his last event, being All-Stars, in which he swapped in at the very last second. Gizzy had a wonderful showing in MCC Pride 22, and I don't think that should be discounted, especially with how similar the roster is to that event. With Joey and Strawberry, I don't really know their current skill levels, but I think they can pull out and help this team even clutch out a spot in dodgeball if all of them play their cards right. Next up is the AQUA AXOLOTLS, which I think is one of the, or if not the most game order dependent teams in the event. This team has very high strengths in games like Hole in the Wall and Build Mart, but very low lows in games such as survival games, which of course we know Renmu can never win survival games. Next up is the Orange Ocelots. I think this team's all-roundedness is going to take them to 4th place, especially with their ability to play their cards right. Yeah, coherent messages are very good for me. Yeah, I think this team has potential to have, there's potential for both Ant Venom, Dintinium, and Gooey to potentially get top 10 this event. I think this team is a pretty sleeper one compared to the top 3, but I still think that they can pull through. Next up it's a very close tight race between 2nd and 3rd, but I think 3rd is going to be edged out by the Blue Bats solely because I think that they have slightly lower lows than the team that I have in 2nd. And that's really about it. I think this team is insanely strong. They have 2 people perfectly capable and who I expect to get top 10 this event, as well as 2 players who have massive potential to improve, as well as have some of their best performances ever. 2nd, I have the Red Rabbits, because I think that this team, Hannah's basically the 2nd strongest player in this event. Pearl is, I honestly, when I first saw this team, I was like, oh my god, that's kind of a borderline S tier duo for this sort of comp. Lizzie has not too shabby placements according to her season 1, and her season 1 is honestly, and this event is very much similar to season 1's, and I think G can also pull her weight enough that this team can absolutely cruise their way to dodgeball, especially if Sands of Time is played late. First, I'm putting the Purple Pandas. I mean, do I really have to explain this? This team is absolutely broken. I enjoy like, this is not, like, we basically have like one of the big top 3 players of this event being Shane Fire Breath Man. I think B-Dubs and Impulse are honestly really good players, and Blushy is one of the most underrated MCC players. This team is going to have a hard time getting beat out for the top spot. My top 10, 1 of course is going to be Shing, 2 is going to be Hannah, 3 I'm going to put Sam, just because I think he's going to perform slightly better than Ponk in games that are worth more, such as Rocket Spleef Rush. 4 I have Foolish Gamers, because I think he's pretty strong for this event. 5th I have Rambo, who I think could do really well, but honestly just get stomped on by his weaker games. 6, I have Pearlescent Moon because I think she's a very strong player for this event, and even if she has some sort of a good, and even if she's on Australian ping, I think that's not gonna stop her from getting top 10. 7th, I have Ponk because he's gonna follow up with Blue's success really well, and possibly take out somewhere in the top 5. Possibly take a spot in the top 5 if Sam doesn't perform as well as I'm expecting him to. 8th, I have Blushy because 1, she's very underrated, and I think she's the second strongest player on purple team, and her experience is going to give her a slight advantage over some of these other players except Fire Breath Man. 9th, I have a kind of a hot take, but it's Gizzy Gaza. He got a really good placement in MCC Pride 22, and I don't see him stopping there. He was one of the key factors in Aqua's success of becoming the first place team, but sadly losing out to Dodgebolt to the Red Rabbits. And 10th, I have Ant Venom because I think Orange needs some representation on this list. While I think the likes of Ant and Dan might be really close, like even like as a 10 and 11, Gumi and Abe are probably going to be the second, third, and fourth, respectively, unless Gumi's more recent experience is going to carry her to the top. And we're going to do a bit of a game order prediction and then also other predictions after it. Benches, I see Meltdown being benched. I think Ace Race is going to get benched again because I don't really think that we're actually going to get another new map this year. So don't really expect it when Christmas time rolls around. Parkour Warriors is going to be benched just because it might be a little bit too complicated for all the newcomers to understand. And Grid Runners because honestly, I think Grid Runners just needs a little bit more updating. Game 1, I think Hole in the Wall will be played first, followed up by Survival Games, followed up by Sands of Time, followed up by Rocket Spleef Rush. The audience vote will be choosing Parkour Tag to see the other side, and Whack-A-Fan will be next. Sky Battle after that, and the finale game, unironically with the song playing in the background, is going to be big sales at Build Mart. With this game order, I actually think that the Dodgebolt contenders change, as I think that the coin differential of Build Mart may be enough for Aqua to sneak into Dodgebolt right under Purple's nose, which would be an amazing feat, but unfortunately I do not see them winning against the almighty Red Rabbits in Dodgebolt. And that's about it. So yeah, that's about it for this ranking. I do really think, and I forgot to add this, but if Purple and Red go into Dodgeball, I do think that Purple will come out on top. But I'm always gonna hope that my girls on the Red Rabbits can take home the glory. Good night, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.